In today's video, we're going to continue setting up our Ansible Lab environment. We're going to configure the Sudo rules and deploy them using an Ansible playbook for our Superuser account that we created in previous episodes. Let's get started. Okay, last video we set up our Superuser account and then transferred its SSH key over. At this point, we are going to set up the sudo rules because the Superuser account, in my case, Matt automated account, needs to be able to use root or sudo to root to do admin stuff, right? So in order to do that, I always like to use examples and documentation that's already out there on the OS. In this case, we can look at the default sudoers file, and when you look over it, it gives you this wheel group here. Actually, we want this one right here. We'll be coming back to this here soon, but we will be using this syntax, this in a sudoers.d, which I'll get into, but we'll be referring to this, so just as an FYI. Okay, so with that being said, I'm in my root Ansible project directory, and I'm root right now because, again, in order to set up all these Superuser accounts for the first time and SSH keys for the first time, you have to have root do it. After that, then you can have the Superuser account do it once it has the ability to do so. Now, let's look at the directory structure here. As you can see, we have a collections directory, we have a roles directory. We're going to create a new role. We're going to go to the roles directory. Actually, let's back up. Let's create a playbook first. So we're going to create a playbook, and it's going to be called, let's see here, deploy admins sudo file. This could be whatever you want it to be. All right. 3 dashes at the top, dash name, and we're going to say deploy sudo file for admins group. Hosts all, gather facts false, roles dash, and we'll call this role deploy admin sudo file. Make sure that's okay, looks correct. Now we're going to go in the roles directory, and then we're going to do ansible-galaxy role init, and we'll just call it deploy admin sudo file. Then we're going to go into that directory it created and do some cleanup. We're going to remove items we are not going to use. Vars, tests, meta, handlers, and files. I think that's it. Okay, yep, that's it. We're going to the tasks directory first. We're going to edit our main.yml. Delete line 2. Our first task, well, first and probably only going to be task, is create sudoers file for admin group. And we're going to use ansible.builtin.template. Again, if you don't know what this module is, you can Google it, or you can use the ansible-navigator space doc and then the name of the module, and it will give you all the examples that you need. In this case, we're going to do source, and it's going to look for a file which we have not created yet called admin sudo sudoers.j2. Destination, it's going to go in the etc sudoers.d directory, and we're just going to call it admins. And then because we are dealing with sudo rules, I'm going to do validate and then run a validation command. And this is to ensure we don't mess up sudo with wrong syntax. Okay, hopefully I've got it. Hopefully that's correct. Okay, we're going to save. I might have messed that up here. We may have to come back to that. We'll see. Okay. Then we're going to go, after we got through with that, we're going to go to our templates directory. And this is where we're going to create the admin sudoers.j2. Actually, I need to get something on my clipboard first, but we're going to do that command here. Etc sudoers. I want to copy the one that says no password. Go back to the J2 file. Now this is a Jinja2 file. This can be whatever you want it to be. You don't have to worry about any special starting out syntax like you do with the YAML documents. Now we're just going to copy and paste what's on our clipboard, remove things we don't need. I'm going to briefly explain. All right, so the %sign in front, this is a variable, and we'll define that variable here soon, allows you to, if it's a %sign, it's a group. If you remove the %sign and you just have a variable here, ignore the word groups here, just have a variable, then it's a user. Now we want a group, the admins group. That way, if we create other super users, we could just put them in the admins group and we don't have to redeploy the admin sudoer because it's already on the host. Okay, I'm going to save that. Basically, this is on all servers, all commands, no password, that sort of thing. If you want more videos about specifics of sudo, please let me know and I'll be glad to do a little quick tutorial on sudo. All right, so we're going to save. All right, we're going to go back out. We're going to go to our defaults folder and we're going to define our customs group, custom groups, sorry, admins. Okay. We go back out to our parent directory. Very important. That's where our Ansible config and navigator stuff is. All right, so let's check the syntax. Ansible navigator run deploy admin sudoer syntax check. Okay, looks like I messed up on something. Says the role deploy. Oh, looks like I named my role incorrectly. So let's just copy what we have in the playbook and we'll go to the roles directory. And yeah, so okay. Let's go back here. Let's go back to the playbook. I like the admins because that's much more detailed than admin. Just simple mistakes, you know. So we're gonna edit our playbook here, deploy admin sudo file, and we're gonna add an S. Then we're going to run our syntax check again. All right, pass the syntax check. Now to see if it actually works. So we're going to do Ansible navigator run deploy And by the way, if you're wondering how I'm typing this all fast, I'm using double tab. So if you want it to autocomplete, so I do like the first couple letters and tab, then it autocompletes. Okay, cross our fingers. Okay, says it worked. Let's see if it does. So as root, we're going to sudo to mat automated. Okay, now let's do an actual command like sudo ls minus lrt slash root. Look at that. We have root access. Sudo viz sudo. Ah, look at that. All right. So we were successful. So I do have some bonus material or activity for you. And, instead of running all these playbooks, let me exit out back to root here. Instead of running all these playbooks, that could take some time. Who wants to do that? Not me, right? So we're going to create another playbook called main.yml. Now this playbook is going to import other playbooks. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so first, you don't have to worry about doing your connection parameters because your connection parameters are in the actual playbooks that we'll be referencing. So you'll start off with name. So running push root public key.yml. I made a list of all the playbooks in our project directory, and the order is important, right? Ansible.builtin.import playbook. That's the magical module right there. Push root public key.yml. And you're going to be doing this for all the playbooks in there. We have, I think, 3 more. Create user to group YAML. Ansible.builtin.import playbook. Create user add to group.yaml. Set up superuser. All right. Ansible.builtin.import playbook. Set up superuser sh key.yaml. I think this is our last one. I'll have to double check the name here though. Running deploy admins sudo.yaml built-in.import playbook. If you hear dogs barking, I'm sorry. Kids are playing upstairs. Deploy admins sudo.yaml. Okay, save that. Now, let's do a syntax check, see if things work. Ansible-navigator run main syntax check. Okay, unable to retrieve file contents. Could not find or access, so makes sense, right? I messed up the name. Yep, the word file. So let's go main.yml and let's change that. Knew I was going to mess that one up. Okay, do this again. Syntax check. I'm pressing the up arrow key to review the history of what commands I've typed, so I can easily just go up to previous commands and press enter. Okay, it says there's no syntax errors. So now let's run the entire set of playbooks. This is like everything, setting up the lab on the OS. It's really exciting. All right, so ansible-navigator run main.yml. Now, it should prompt us for a password, hopefully. Just don't know if he'll do it up front or after. There we go. Enter the value for the user's account password. Pretty cool, huh? And we're done. It pushed the root SSH public key out to all the hosts. It created the superuser account called Matt Automated, created an admins group, and made sure the user was in the admins group, and then it pushed the superuser's SSH key, public SSH key, to all the hosts out there. Pretty cool. In one playbook, we were able to do all that, and you saw how fast it was. So I hope you liked the video. I'm just a regular guy learning just like you are, so I'm going to make mistakes. If you have any ideas for future content, please put it in the comments below. Again, mash that like and subscribe, please. Everyone have a great day.